Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, or look, good morning. I don't know where you're coming in from here. So this is our last Sunday night teacher talk of this season, of this school year, right? So this is number 6, and then we did a whole other show before this on Sunday. So I feel like I have a bug on me, and I don't know if I do. You know that feeling.
I don't see a bug
someone on
you.
here. Maybe you start feeling like you got a bug on you. So this is our last one, and then we're going to take off for a month, about 5 weeks. We'll be back right after 4th of July, right in time for folks that are like getting ready to go back to school. So some of you already been on break for a minute. Some of you are getting ready to go on summer break on break. And then there's some of you that are in Australia that are just starting out the school year. It was funny. I saw Hamish had like a flannel on and a jacket. And I'm like, I always forget that like Australia, Southern Hemisphere is opposite of us. So before we kind of jump into it, like if you have a question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. If you're new here and you have a question, know that people in the chat are going to answer you back as well. But, I'm just thinking, first, let me call it the elephant in the room too. We have a new setup coming next season. So when we come back in July, we have a whole new setup. My wife and I are both going to be on camera. We bought chairs to do this with, but when we're in them, they are very squeaky. If you can hear the chairs, and I'm going to let you hear it now so you know what you're listening for. If you can hear that a lot, I don't want these chairs. So if you could just let us know in the comment section, because I don't want to get chairs and then someone's listening to this on their way to school and it's like the loudest thing. I'll tell you, when Lewis Howes interviews people on School of Greatness, he breathes so loud, like in between, like someone's talking and he's just like, you just hear like.
See, that's why I wouldn't want a microphone like that close to me. What if I'm a heavy breather?
I'm not saying
and I didn't know
breath,
until
bro.
then.
I'm just saying back up a little bit so we can't it's driving me crazy.
I wonder if anybody posts in his comments about that.
They got it. It's like, bro, you're being a mouth breather. You got to chill. So we don't want to be the squeaky chair people. So be a good friend. Let us know if you hear these things like throughout. Like, let me know because I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be annoying. So here's what I'm thinking about going into the summer. I was at a mastermind a couple weeks ago down in Atlanta, and one of the things that was talked about was this idea of sharpening your axe and how we need time to do nothing. That, as a matter of fact, and this is something I'm going to be teaching over the summer, is in depth, is we need to create. So teachers are innately creative people. Even if you don't think of yourself as particularly creative, you are creative if you're an educator. You have to be. You have to create something from nothing. You have to create fun. You have to create relevancy in some of the lessons that you have to connect them to something relevant, which is sometimes easier said than done. But it is, to do that, you have to create a time where there's nothing to do, so you can just sharpen your own axe. You can get smarter, you can get better. You're listening to podcasts, you're reading books, you're drawing, you're just thinking, but you're not like, and this is I won't say it's an argument, it's a point of conversation in our class or in our house of like, if you're just cleaning the bathroom, does that count as nothing and give you this space and time to think about something?
I wonder who says that one.
I would argue that this is not the time to do that. However, when I am mowing the lawn, I have this little tiny baby lawn. I do, but I think it's different when you're not in house. And look, when you even look at and here's why I would argue that. We can have meetings in the house and we have them regularly. When we go out and have a meeting, dude, they're so productive.
That is true. There's a lot of distractions.
Yeah. And just little things. Like, even if it's madness in front of the house and you just want to like look out and see what's going on out there. So I'm really trying to think of, and I think this is something worth kind of thinking about for anyone checking this out today too, is that how are you going to sharpen your own axe over the summer? Things aren't always going to get better in education. Sometimes you got to get better to be able to handle the things that you've been given. And so, especially for those of you that are just starting out in education, It is, how do I want to put this? It is crucial that you become the person that can do the work you've been asked to do and that you want to do. We're not always there yet. Not everyone is always at the level to be able to handle that. It's not just that the teachers you're watching are better with their pedagogy. It's they're better at handling things in life. And so, because what you don't want to do is just be a good teacher and not live a great life as well. And so that's something we're looking forward to, like creating content over the summer and really, really talking about too, is this idea of like, want work-life balance, then you have to be really good at life and education. So,
well, that goes really perfect into Linda's question, which is, what are your plans for the summer?
So I'll tell you, Linda, this is a great question because my plans have changed drastically since leaving the classroom, because summer is our on time. So although we're not going to be on Sunday Night Teacher Talk in June, that is because we are going to be working our faces off in June and July and August. And so the time of the year that I have kind of been programmed, like not only as an educator, but like my whole life, right? Like when you're younger, you just have off in the summer. In college, you have off in the summer to some degree. As a teacher, to some degree, you have off in the summer, even though I usually just work a lot of jobs. But still, now it's the push, because we have so much great stuff happening in July. So all year I've been kind of talking about things that are coming. Look, it feels a little bit like Game of Thrones. It's like winter's coming, but everyone's going, when? But
it makes me want to go soon.
Yeah.
Which then makes me laugh because we're watching The Chosen.
And in The Chosen,
soon all the time.
Soon all the time, yes. So it's this idea. Let me get in the center of this picture. It's a little tricky because we are doing so much. So my plan is this summer is to get up earlier than ever, really get my work in during the day so that I can spend my like late afternoon, early evening with just family stuff. We are, I don't know what we even have planned.
I think it's just to be intentional about spending time with each other. A really interesting thing with our kids is they really love us and they like want to spend so much time with us. And we don't say that.
That's not a humble brag or a flex. That's like a,
I can't believe it. I never expected to like have those kids that did that. That wasn't my like upbringing. That wasn't cultivated in our lives or any of our friends. Like, we were all just typical teenagers, right? And so we have children who really love us. And that isn't a humble brag. It's really, I'm just kind of shocked at it. And so they love spending a lot of time with us. And so we are intentional about that sort of stuff. And so I think we're going to do just a lot of like day trips. There's like tons of stuff to do around here. We live in a great area for that.
All our kids want to do now is escape rooms. We took them to an escape room maybe a month ago and they loved it. And we won. And they thought that was so great. They just want to do them all the time. But they're like $100 to do an escape room.
Yes, a little pricey.
For an hour.
Are you ready for your next question?
I am. Your laptop is not plugged in, dude. I don't know what the deal is, but I just want you to know.
Okay, let's fix that while we do a question at the same time.
Go ahead. I'm fixing it. I'm down here.
Awesome. Linda is asking again. She's asking, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Can you answer that? And
I see myself not under this table. That's a great question. Where would I like to see myself? It would be, I think, doing what I'm doing now, ultimately. Here's what I know. Sometimes I feel like God shows me the next season. I don't always get to see the seasons after that. What I would like to be doing with my family is not living in the city anymore, living somewhere with a little bit more room so I could have my dogs outside. And because we eat a lot of eggs and I want to raise chicken so I can lessen that factor, lessen that cost factor. I want to have a business that is a blessing to those that are a part of what we're doing. I want to build an insane amount of content for educators, but I want to build out a program that is going to really be able to help educators and not That's something that we can sell to schools and to districts. So it's not just something that teachers are paying for. I really am trying to get away as much as possible to the teacher paying model, if I can. Doing a lot more speaking, but not a ton. It is constantly with my ear to what do educators need so that we can create pathways and pipelines that help people be who they are called to be, who they want to be, the teacher that they dreamed of being, and really having an effect on the state of education by doing that, by helping to reintroduce wonder and fun and excitement into education by creating classrooms that students want to be in. And so it's really trying to do some of that stuff. And then I think our next step, do we talk about this? YouTube stuff?
Yeah.
I'll drop it on here. I'm not going to go into it at depth, but it's summertime, and there's not a million people on. It is really kind of beginning to think about and create something that is going to, so if other educators want to do this, if they want to do live streams and videos and speak and write books and all that kind of stuff. I also another book too within the next year. So I think in the fall, I'm getting ideas now. I'm going to start writing my next book. But we want to create a platform where educators can do this, because I know what Home Depot pays working all weekend, and some people love that. It's such a difference from what you're doing in school, and that it can be a reprieve. Just like being a waitress, being working construction in the summer, people want to do that. If they feel a calling to do this work, we want to create a platform that's going to show you exactly how we did it. And everything we did, nothing came easy. There's no other old dudes on YouTube. So I feel like ours was super grassroots, like pull it up out of the mud. But when this pays off the way that I know it's going to pay off, I want to show other people how to do it. So that's what I think is next.
That'll be,
and that could just be one thing. It doesn't mean I have to do YouTube. It's like, how do we get a book deal? How do we write a book? How did we create a podcast?
There's a lot that we learned that we didn't anticipate to go into all this. Like we didn't anticipate a business like this. We didn't anticipate to do any of it. Mm-hmm. It kind of just grew into something beautiful, that's a blessing. Okay, let's take another question. Maisha's up next.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
I'm so glad that she can come. She loves working. She works at Office Depot and loves it. Like that idea of doing something completely opposite is.
Dude, there's days where we're in Home Depot and I'm like,
I know. I remember you saying like, I wish I could work like just the most easiest customer service job ever.
Not just easy. People come into Home Depot because they have a problem. I have the answer. They want to listen to me. It is the opposite of school. Right? Oh. It's like you need copies made. I got you. Yeah. What kind of pen should you get? I've got the answer. Like
that's hilarious. Okay, well, Maisha is asking, since Sunday Night Teacher Talk will be on a hiatus, will you be participating in other podcasts during this time off?
Two answers to this. One, it will be on hiatus. I haven't talked to my wife about this yet, which usually gets me in trouble for stuff. Because it's a joint activity that we're doing here. I'm thinking about creating some kind of like best of Sunday Night Teacher Talk for the next few weeks, maybe potentially doing something like that. We'll talk about it. Other than that, yes, I will be on hopefully a bunch of podcasts coming up. There are a bunch that I have that are like in the can also. I just did one. Michael on here put me onto this, the Fit Father Project, which was a way big departure from what I usually talk about. It was really fun to do.
Because he really asked you education related questions. Like
he did, but it was like, it's usually something that's on fitness, but that hasn't even dropped yet.
Yeah.
So
that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm working on that now.
Oh gosh, I was listening to you and not looking for a question.
That's fine.
Okay, Dawn is up next asking, when you were teaching, did you keep teaching wake times the same during the summer, and why?
No, I did not. And here's why, because I'm even learning now, Dawn. I'm actually, maybe I'll take a ride to go get this today. I didn't need to sleep as much when I was younger, and the older I've gotten, the more sleep I've needed. And so this year I've made it a non-negotiable that I get 7 hours of sleep a night. So if I have to get up very, very early, it means sometimes I have to go to bed very, very early. If I can get up a little later, like this morning, I did not wake up till 9:30 in the morning, and I would have probably slept much later than that because I was knocked out. It has been a busy few weeks here. And so I was exhausted, and I've been exercising a lot more, and I started swimming, and that is, it is making me tired. So I didn't, because what I wanted to do was I didn't stay up later. I really try. The summer has this. Here's my thing. For me, nothing good happens after 9 p.m. by and large, right? I don't go out at night with friends. I go out certain days of the week with friends. If I do that, I'm far more productive in the morning than I am in the evening. So if I start going to bed late, all I'm doing is watching TV, and I'm watching dumb stuff. Like, you fell asleep last night on the couch and you wake up, and what am I watching? I'm either watching people cutting lawns, or I'll tell you, here's a weird thing I watch. And someone out there watches this.
I think this is so
when
gross.
They put new horseshoes on horses. I don't know why this is the most satisfying, like, ASMR thing that I could watch, but it does it for me. So I just end up watching nonsense, and then I end up staying up too late.
Or you eat like snacks.
Yeah, I end up eating like too much garbage
buddies.
And stuff, or I drink too much, or what. Like, it's like, oh, I'm just sitting here drinking wine for 3 hours. So it's like, if I just go to bed on time, then I wake up whenever I sleep as late as I need to, but then I'm typically still tired by that time. So yeah, it's a trap that I don't want to fall into. Nothing good comes out of it.
All right, next up is I passed fire, but Lori has a question, I think. She forgot to put a Q. I was just told someone else will be taking my position. We have a week and a half left in this year. How am I supposed to feel about this? Feeling worthless.
So, Lori, I think, gosh.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
I am sorry too. It's difficult on a number of levels, because by this time of the school year, you're just like, you have something to hold on to and to think that you're coming back to, and all of the feelings of like being comfortable with that. And, it's really disappointing. Especially that someone wouldn't have given you the heads up earlier. I think what you do with this is, what are you choosing to do with this, right? And so when you are slighted, when you are disrespected, when something happens like that, I hate this answer as much, believing it as much as I hate saying it, but it's the only thing that's ever been true for me, is I decide how I'm going to feel about this. I decide where I'm going to, like, what's coming next? What is the blessing that is coming my way? How can I be open to what's going on? And if I can't do that, then I need to work on me to get to a place where I feel better about that. So that's the only kind of advice I can give. Because look, I'll tell you, I've had business interactions with people where I have been, dogged. Like, I'm not even talk numbers, but I have lost a lot of money. I've lost faith in people. I have been thrown under the bus. I've had really, like, some bad business interactions with individuals, but I'll say this: it made me do business better the next time. It made me look out for what I was doing. Made me think there's got to be a contract in place. There needs to be a mediator, or there needs to be, like, my lawyer has to be involved in certain things. That a handshake and a smile is just not going to do it all the time. And so it made me build me. I couldn't change the people. I couldn't change the situation, but I can change me, and I can decide how I'm going to choose to look at it, because no one gets to decide whether or not I have peace in my life. I decide whether or not I'm going to have peace. So I would look at it as an opportunity to work on something. This doesn't exactly go along with this, but I heard somebody say the other day, I was watching, I forget where I consume so much stuff. Sometimes I forget where I found stuff. And we didn't talk about this yet. Someone said, how do you deal with haters? And the guy goes, "Oh man, I love haters." And I'm like, "Dude, come on. It's
answer.
like when
that's what Gary Vee said to me. I asked him when we went, that was my one question, something along those lines. And he was like, "Oh, I love it." Or how do you not hate the process or something, like something about longevity or just having to deal with things. And he was like, "No, I love it." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't like that answer."
But Gary's answer was different. Here's what this person said. Like Gary, I remember Gary saying that. And I remember his why. Like that fuels him.
Yeah.
This person said, because it makes me, if they say something about anything about you, you talk too fast, you don't give other people a chance to talk, your classroom's too loud, you are whatever it is. He said, haters will tell you what you're not good at. And sometimes they're right? Sometimes someone dogs you and they're right. And you go, "Thank you very much."
That's a tricky one.
Thank you very much for the insight.
Yeah.
Because now I'm going to learn from that and I'm going to win even more.
Yeah, that's
and I thought,
awesome.
"Oh, that's a hard pill to swallow," because they don't say it nice.
But
it's not like constructive criticism.
No, it's always mean and very rude.
Yeah.
But it's actually a good one. It's a way to just take ownership of it and not get hurt by it so much. I like that shift.
So that's it's like but it makes you go, "Am I not good at that?" But you have to know, right? We have to know as individuals, and this comes with sharpening your own axe. What is this going to give me an opportunity to get better at? And knowing you can get better at anything as long as you focus your attention on. You can literally, are you going to be the best in the world? No, but you can literally get better at anything if you try to do it and make a concerted effort to do it. And
but go back into the importance of like resting too, to be able to do all of that. Like teachers are done now and they're exhausted. Like I remember when you haven't been in a classroom this year, not saying that you forgot or anything, but like I remember very vividly your exhaustion.
I still feel that. I'm going to tell you what, I think it's like I think it's
ingrained in your body.
Yeah,
it's 17
it's in
years
like my DNA now. Like I'm like, "Oh gosh, I'm so excited." Like even this is the last one that we're doing for the season. I'm like, I feel like there's a little bit of relief, even though it takes no effort.
No.
And like I love doing it.
It's just something off our schedule.
It's just like but it also so let me
I think it's the importance of like reminding educators like, you need to rest too.
Yeah.
It's important to do that side. I don't think we have any questions right now.
Cool. So look, I am curious, what are things that you all do in the summer that are life-giving to you, right? I'm curious what that would be. And then I also I'm going to do it as soon as we're done. I'm going to go in the Facebook group and I'll put a post in there that's only going to be something that everyone's going to understand on here. So I'll say, like, if you were a part of the Sunday Night Teacher Talk, then you know what I'm talking about. Leave me a comment below. And then what I would like to know is if you're new to the classroom this year, or if you know someone that's going to be new to the classroom this year, I'm going to give away a couple of books. So if you, as soon as we're done today, go over into our Facebook group, Real Rap with Reynolds Teacher Talk. If you're not a part of it already, you can just go. There's like 3 simple questions you have to answer. That's just a way for us to vet people to make sure that you're actually either an educator or a would-be educator, like you're going to soon be an educator someday, and that you're not a company or something like that. And then just answer to the post, and then I'll hit you up with a message on Facebook, because I want to give away a few books. Then I'm going to do that probably tonight when I sit down to watch TV around 9 o'clock.
Did you ask people what they said that they like to do for?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Lopez said that he mentioned he likes writing letters, and sending care packages has always been helpful.
And eating scallops and drinking wine.
No, I love that, John. I love that
awesome.
Giving care packages is a part of your like loving on other people is like a way to fill you back up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm just curious. Like, it's when I really think about it, babe, it's like it takes some time, because sometimes when you're a teacher, you give away so much of yourself that you don't even know what fills you up anymore. You're not sure what even does that. So
it's like motherhood. I feel like moms get like that, like you you give so much to your family and the community around you, and who, if you have another job, like all those things, like there's a lot on mom's shoulders, that it feels exhausting.
It does. And then who am I now? Well, who am I when I'm not a mom?
Yeah.
Like on a day to day, you need me for everything kind of a thing.
I remember when the kids went back to school for the first time, because I was stay-at-home mom for the first 8 years of our kids' lives. Then when they were in school and I was by myself, I was like, whoa, what do I do now? Felt like I had I cleaned the house a lot faster when the kids weren't there. I was like, quick. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done. But
we would go out to dinner and we're like 20 minutes later, like, all right, we're done now.
I know, right?
Wolf that stuff down. Yeah, it's and it's interesting because when my therapist said that a couple of years ago, he was like, well, what did you do when you were younger? What did you like doing? Like, start there. And I thought, oh yeah, I liked surfing and playing music with people and going rock climbing and traveling. And it's like some of that stuff I can just do now.
Maisha said that she's can't wait until our summer break. So she said, so I can purge and organize my apartment. Maisha, I love that answer, because that's so life-giving to me, is like cleaning things out. Like, I'm excited to clean out our basement. Like, we need a major basement clean out in our basement. Yeah. So
you're an adult when that's like you're stoked.
I hate that adulting. Like, I'm like, no, but I do like doing those things. There's nothing wrong with that. I always
liked doing it when I was a kid too. There's something to get things organized. And,
I love it. It feels good. I like
in their place. It just, you feel like it's taking up. There's no mind share that's taking up now, right? Like it's not like nagging you.
So I love doing that. So enjoy.
Yes.
Hey, has anybody heard these chairs? Have you heard us squeak at all?
Curious. Because when we're sitting next to one another, I feel like there could be more potential. If you hear it in the podcast too, drop me a line, shoot me an email or something like that. So
Heather in the comments said, she goes, I need ideas as I haven't had a chance because I have been a caretaker for my partner who has had 2 amputations this year, and I'm still taking care of him. Oh, that's a lot, Heather. I think try anything. You have to try anything that you can within your scope of like what you have available to you. If you're a caretaker, there's only certain pockets of time, but that you can carve out little pockets of time, and you just have to try anything. I think that's how you figure out what or sit down and think about what gives you life. What would you like to do if you could do anything? I think that's where I started when I had more time to myself to figure out okay, what do I?
I think that's a fun game. I think a fun game that we started. Remember we did this thing where I was like, what would it be weird but kind of interesting if I got into? And we started this conversation because it was like, wouldn't it be funny if you became a bartender or got into hatchet throwing or took up fly fishing or got scuba certified. And, I was thinking about that, and it turns out the joint that we just started going to, so we switched gyms because we went to a gym with a pool so I can swim in the summer, because I know that my son, with the autism piece, there's just not when it gets too hot out, he gets overwhelmed, and I just know he's not going to run in the summer. So I'm like, oh, we'll just swim. They scuba certify there.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So
are you so excited?
I really
scuba diving is terrifying.
I'm thinking I want to
get
scuba
fun.
certified.
All
I'm
right.
gonna scuba Reynolds. Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be my new YouTube channel where I just scuba places. We'll just be scubing. That's what they call it when they do it. I think the other thing, Heather, is so it's kind of like what would be funny or weird if you were into or got and there's all kinds of weird stuff. When you start looking at places, I'll tell you another place to find out things to do for yourself. Go on Groupon. And you will find weird experience. They have, do you know at the Camden Aquarium, they have concerts where they have a cellist and the violinist and this small string quartet. But then they come in and they play only certain, they'll be 90s rock. Stop. Right? That's their jam. They'll be
can we go to this?
Yes, anybody can go. They'll do
fun.
All Journey songs one night. But then you're in front of the aquarium. So it's the enormous aquarium.
Yeah.
And then they have candles all over. So you look like you're in freaking wrapped around your finger video with the police. I just dated myself. So it's like this, but I didn't know until I went on Groupon, right? Or a hotel, or there's a authentic Japanese tea garden that I found in Philly that I didn't even know existed. And so there are opportunities, and there's like these things that you can do. That's one. And then another thing I'll tell you is I heard somebody say on a podcast recently that you like look at where you live and do some of the things that tourists might do when they come to your town. So even if you live like in a small town, you know, and you're not like in a major city, right? If someone came to town, what are some things that you would take them to do? And so there's tons of stuff in Philly that like I just never do because it's like a total touristy thing. Like I can't tell you last time I've been to Independence Hall where they signed the Declaration of Independence, or I had a buddy just come to town. He really wanted to go see the Liberty Bell. So Rusty and I went to the Liberty Bell, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cool though, man. It was free. I haven't been there since I was in like first or second grade, but it was kind of rad. I was like, oh, the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
And like these double-decker buses that go around Philly. I think this summer, that's part of what we're going to do is like, how can we look at where we live, like we're tourists, and do some of the things that tourists would do just because it's fun. And it's not about doing any one thing. It's about doing sometimes little things that are, guess what? They're sprinkling magic on your summer and on your life. And it's like this little.
That's a great explanation of like what our summer is going to be like this year, because it's a lot of still building what we want to have come out for Real Rap with Reynolds, but the other part needs to be our family attention, but it's sprinkling magic through little trips and things like that we're going to do. Okay, so Zoe is saying in the comments, I can't find it. I'll pop it up there in a second. She's saying, I grow my own. Or Zoe, I grow my own fruit and veggies. So she finds digging lots of big holes very calming, but also gets super proud of all the veggies I grow. My little yellow tomato last year were my pride. Excellent.
Yeah. Oh
we can relate to that one.
I know, man. And I'll tell you what, for anyone that grows tomatoes, you have more tomatoes than you could ever eat in your life. I feel like we couldn't even give them away.
No, we weren't. Like, I think I was the only one that liked tomatoes, really.
Oh, I don't like them. I just like growing.
I know, which always drove me nuts. And I'm like, just get like one variety. You get like
tomatoes and beans are easy for kids to harvest too. So it was fun. Their little hands can get in there and like collect them all, and they won't destroy them.
That gives me good memories.
No, yeah, I love gardening. And when we get out of the city, that is something I want to have is like a legit, like we're going to be doing some agriculture. That's what we're going to be.
All right, Linda's up next. She's asking, are you reading any interesting books recently?
So I've been doing a lot of podcasting lately, and I have this fascination around. My daughter says I only listen to things about gardening, Jesus,
or
business or money. She's like, that's all you watch and listen to all the time. Like, you're kind of right, love. And horseshoes. But yeah, it's no, I'm thinking of, you have a good book that you're about to read.
Yes.
Shamika Daniels' new book.
Yes. Aspire.
Yeah, no, not at the top of my head that I'm doing right now. There's stuff I have like in my cart that I want to get, but like
you've been listening to a lot of podcasts versus reading lately, so much.
Because I can run and listen to a podcast. I don't know
how people actually do that. So I tried one day. I tried to listen to a podcast and grocery shop at the same time. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't like focus on the words and think about my grocery list at the same time. I'm like, maybe I need to write an actual list instead of having it in my brain.
If you need to. But sometimes there's certain podcasts I listen to that it's like, I feel like I'm taking a class and I can only listen to it and I take notes. There's other ones I just kind of wash over me. I got real into this dude. I'll tell you what, this guy is legit. It's a goof. It's not necessarily a cool name. The Wall Street Trapper, right?
He thinks it's cool.
Dude, he's awesome. Awesome. I mean, damn. Like, even if you're not into like money and like, I have no history in stocks or anything like that, but I'm not particularly good at saving money, but I'm trying to change that. And this dude is someone that I'm always kind of listening to stuff too that I could put my students onto. And I've been sending students a lot of stuff. Him and this other dude, Ash Cash. They are, man, blowing my mind lately. What you got?
Oh, Someone in the comments, Kellen said, my wife is a podcast producer for NPR. Shout out for TED Radio Hour.
Oh yeah. I love TED Radio Hour.
Oh, awesome.
That's what actually put me on to Tony Robbins years ago. I never listened to him because I always thought he was the infomercial guy, and he was on TED Radio.
He was the infomercial guy.
And I heard someone else listening to it. He said something. I was walking through the staff lounge, actually. Miss List was in there listening to it, and it put me on to him, and that was a big move on my. That's awesome, man.
Cool job.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Orlando is saying that we will embark on summer this coming Friday. Yay! 2 full days. Wait, that's not the one I wanted. I'm sorry, Michael. Yay to you still, but not.
Still good job, Michael.
Enjoy.
Go get it.
Okay. Stone is saying, I've been offered a job out of state, but I would prefer to stay in my home state, but it's super competitive. Yep. What should I do?
I think it is tricky, man. Like, I'll say this, Stone, that I worked in New Jersey and I worked one neighborhood over, and the convenience factor alone of that, right? Of like, if I forgot something at school, if I wanted to run back over for a basketball game, for a football game, for a student event at night, or to chaperone a dance or something, it's just right there. Then I work in Philly, and it's like far enough away and bridge toll every single time I go over that it's expensive. It starts adding up. And so that was enough of a piece that I don't know that if I worked in the classroom again, that I would want to go out of state. I think I'd want to, just because I feel like I could provide more for my community here. Now, I will say, when you're starting out, it can be difficult and it can be extremely competitive. Maybe getting some expertise, getting some experience under your belt, and then in a few years, seeing what else is out there, seeing if there's somewhere else that you could go. Now, at least you're coming with something. Don't, of course, tell the job that you're going to go to that, because who knows? You might end up loving it there. It might be the most perfect fit. I know when I went to West Philly, I wasn't sure that was going to be a forever gig. And then, at least initially, I mean, for years, I'd say over a decade, it was could not pick. I wouldn't have gone anywhere else even for the money if someone had offered it to me, because I just knew that this was my spot. So you just never know what you're going into. So it's considering going in, because experience is going to be really the thing that helps you get a position later on, because then you have real experiences to pull from.
Kellen in the comments said, I currently have an hour commute. I like my school, but it's a pain.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Yeah, Donovan has an hour commute also. He doesn't seem like, he won't tell you he hates it, but he also doesn't have a very, like, you can read his face pretty clear in that when you ask him.
Well, he doesn't have an easy commute either, because he goes all the way up 295. So it's like
traffic all the way.
New Brunswick.
It doesn't clear out for like a good 30 minutes.
Yeah, and he's at a charter school, so they always have those longer hours and stuff. It's like, he
loves his school, but it's hard,
something to really consider. And I know a lot of folks have those really long commutes as well.
Can you move closer to the job if it's such a great position? I don't know where you got. He's a first-year teacher. It doesn't say that. You spoke, but I mean, great advice anyway. I know.
I was feeling it.
But if it's a really competitive position and you would like to be there, could you move closer so you're not as far of a commute?
Yeah.
I don't know what you need to be home for. If that's possible, I would look into that.
Yeah, because kids and stuff are a tricky thing. Like to just
move kids, right, is always hard. Yep. Mr. Boland is up next asking, I'm a middle school teacher and I have had my students for 2 years. They're 8th graders going into high school. Is there an appropriate way to allow students to reach out to me if needed?
I think one, you kind of want to know what your school's policy is on this. Some schools are totally fine with it, and it's not a big deal. Like where I worked in West Philly, we were allowed to give students rides home. We were allowed to post pictures on social media with students, but that was all stuff that was like the school thought about ahead of time. There were agreements made with parents signed off. So like I couldn't just give any kid a ride home, but if a parent agreed and there was a waiver done, like it was fine. You were protected under the school's insurance and stuff like that. But and so I have given any number of students my phone number over the years, or just let them hit me up somehow. To me, social is probably the easiest way, but I think you want to just make sure that you're allowed to do that. You know, I also taught all boys for so long that was just less of an issue. It wasn't like, you know, there's so much madness that happens. And you just hear in the news way too often where like some teacher was taking advantage of a student, and that really the hardest, or not, I won't say the hardest thing about that. It's absolutely not the hardest thing, but one of the byproducts of that is now like we can never do that. And that sucks, because sometimes, you know, you want to keep growing with students. If nothing else, I would say, Mr. Boland, like letting students know that your classroom is an open place in perpetuity. So like when they're out of high school, when they're in the college, when they want to just come back and visit, please, please, please come back and visit me whenever you want. But doing something like that would be fun. And maybe, yeah. So I don't know. Students have my number. I've DM'd students, Facebook message.
Yeah, but didn't you have a rule in place at some point? Like it was like, I can't friend you on social media until you're 18.
No, I won't follow you until you're 18. Because I don't want to see you smoking weed, and then I gotta report you. Right. Ignorance is bliss sometimes, because you're gonna do what you're doing anyway. I just don't need to see it.
Yeah, facts.
You know, twerking at a frat party.
That's probably a pretty good rule.
So Reynolds value system doesn't go there.
I love a few people on here. We're talking about what they do when they listen to Sunday Night Teacher Talk. And Maisha said she meal preps while listening to us. And Heather says that she irons school uniforms. Those are two tasks that I probably could listen to something on and do the task, because I do them so frequently. It's pretty easy.
That's a really interesting, like, what are you doing when you are checking this out? Like, you know,
I have a feeling a lot of people listen to this when they're on their way to work or like in some commute.
Because there's definitely like different things I listen to when I'm doing different kinds of stuff. So, yeah. So, cool.
Well, I think we can end. I don't have any more questions.
Right. Well, look, gang, we will be back the week after July 4th. And I'm praying for if you're into praying, we could use it, an incredibly productive next 5 weeks, because what we want to drop in July is a big deal. It's exciting. It's a lot of heavy lifting. It's a lot of getting something completely created.
And it's just us. It's literally just you and me, like in our house. There's not a whole, I mean, we have a few people for different things, but overall it's just us.
We have no full-time employees.
Nope.
We're just out here doing the thing. So yeah, it will be exciting, and it will be it's going to help people more than anything.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Everything we have coming up is going to be incredibly helpful.
So if you're not on our email list, you can sign up on the website, which that'll be exciting. You can keep checking there. That'll have a whole new redo and
website's coming.
New face on there, so that'll look fun.
Oh, and we got the greatest web designer to do our website.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Super stoked about it.
I love all these things. Someone said that Zoe said it's 9:45 p.m. in the UK, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm reading in bed reading. Someone else said I clean my fish tank. I love these. These are hilarious.
This has to be a post on social. I'm gonna post this. What do you do?
What do you do during Sunday Night Teacher Talk?
Yeah.
That's funny. You guys, everybody have a great end of school year.
Yes. Have an incredible summer. I hope it is incredibly rejuvenative. And if you need anything, right, like, please reach out to us and let us know, and we'd be happy to try and help in any possible way that we can. We good?
Yeah. Be well, everyone.
It's a little bit sad.
No, we'll see you soon.
Just feel like I'm gonna miss everybody. So that's it. We'll see you. We'll see you this summer. Peace.